Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And today we're going to be taking a look at a couple of very interesting things. Like for example, my personal suggestions for what to look into for the next bull market, some things as to what to watch out for, a couple of good suggestions in that field, a little bit of news in regards to FUD and massive transfers of crypto, just some stuff you need to keep in the back of your head, and some other cool stuff I think you guys will enjoy. But let me start out by giving you guys some tips. I am not a financial advisor, but I like to help people. And at the end of the day, my major goal here for making these videos is A, keeping you guys more informed, but B, to make you guys tons of freaking money through showing what I look at every single day or what I do to analyze these different cryptos. And that's basically it. So I sometimes don't have to go fully news, sometimes just give some tips. Anyway, crypto bull market, here's the best digital asset to buy, and it's not even close. They talk about Bitcoin, and the thing is, they have a little bit of a point. Hear me out. Whenever I write these videos for top 5 cryptocurrencies for this period, top 5 for that period, I don't ever include Bitcoin. And that's because Bitcoin, in almost every way I can think of, is just not the coin with the most gain potential. It's just a fact. But, and this is also extremely important, it is the coin that has the highest probability of being in the number 1 position for any amount of time that we know as of this point. And why I'm saying that is because any coin in theory could overtake Bitcoin, but we don't know which one and we don't know when. So for our near future outlook, all we know is that Bitcoin is going to continuously go up until it doesn't, but nobody knows who's going to beat it. In a similar sense, whenever I talk about the next big thing, the next big trend or whatnot, again, usually the difficult part in it for writing or making a perfect portfolio comes with the issue of, well, yeah, you don't know the next trend. At some point it was ICOs that were the major thing to make money on. At some point it was the DeFi or the GameFi or the NFT bull market, right? Maybe next big run is going to purely or mostly be AI, which is what I'm focusing on, but for a very good part, most AI projects I'm looking into are just garbage. And so there are obviously going to be many other projects like I'll show you guys in a couple of minutes here that I just think are worth looking into or interacting with. Anyway, I'm not sure exactly the last sentence that I just said, but the point is, when you're building your perfect portfolio, you don't know what's going to be the next big wave. And so whenever I think about it, we just focus on what has a good probability of winning, and we kind of go from there. Like, what is a good probability of winning and has good gain potential as well? Because there's a couple of safe bets. Like, let's say, for example, Ethereum. Do I think it's going to be the biggest gainer out there? No. There's going to be way better cryptocurrencies that'll make you way more money. And there's even a chance that there'll be some new tech created by some company that's going to completely wipe out Ethereum. Is it going to happen soon? Doesn't look like it. Could it happen? Certainly. And so the story kind of goes for any crypto. They're objectively not the best of what they could be because they could always be made in a different fashion that's not been thought of that could be better. And the same thing goes for anything. You just don't know what the next wave is going to be or which ones will stay. It's just, however, very hard for a Bitcoin, an Ethereum, and some of these behemoths to fall because they're so huge. But we have seen it before with coins like EOS, and there's a couple of other ones. They're in the top 6, because I think EOS was number 6, and now they're number 41. They just gradually fall and lose billions of dollars, which mostly happens, however, in a bear market. In the bull market, you almost cannot go wrong with buying things because usually things just go up and up and up. Now, when you can be careful though, or when you should be, is hopefully you guys can see it properly here, with token unlocks. And before we move on, I should quickly tell you guys about our sponsor of today, which is Panda. Now, Panda is basically a suite of free encrypted apps that allows you to earn crypto with zero investment necessary. Right now, the only available app in this suite is the Panda app, which is basically similar to WhatsApp, Telegram, etc. And the major difference is that unlike all these other communication apps, the conversations are so secure that not even the company has access to them. And they reportedly also don't sell our data or run any in-app ads. And of course, none of the other apps are paying you for using them. And of course, sharing them as well. Now, over on their website, you'll find a little 2-minute explainer video about exactly this. And this is also where you could download the app from. I'd recommend just going to the App Store though in your phone. Then again, it's invite only right now, so I'll leave a code down below that you can use to actually start using it and then potentially start earning from it as well. Again, it's completely free. Even though everything is completely free, if you did want to, you can actually also buy their token over on their website and just use their swap feature to swap to other tokens without the fees that other platforms have. And again, by just going into the app, you can just get yourself free tokens that you can then also stake. Like I said, my invite code will be in the description down below, along with a couple of other links of all their community channels, where you can ask them questions if you want to, as they answer very quickly. Now, just so you know, they're actually planning to actually launch a whole other section of different functionalities, like the Panda Academy, Panda Meet, Panda Post, Panda Vault, Panda Play, Panda Profit, Panda Legends. And their idea is to basically take over everything and replace the apps that we currently know and love. The idea is those apps aren't paying you, and Panda can hopefully do that. Again, always be cautious, but if you do want to check it out, a link for this will be down below. You can just look it up or go to the App Store. I'll leave an invite for it though, if you guys do end wanting to join. As I said, always do your own due diligence and be careful, but at the end of the day, it's completely free, so what's the harm? Yeah, you'll also be able to join the communities with links down below. Just check it out. The simple point here is, whenever a coin goes onto the market or a token goes onto the market, very often not all the tokens are unlocked from the get-go. And so the people who invested earlier, they get a piece of their total amount of tokens day by day, week by week, month by month, or year by year, or quarterly, whatever. And that is something you should pay attention to. I'm going to publish this video tomorrow, so this will be a little bit outdated. But H-bar basically here has 2 more hours to go. Now, again, what the price consequence will be is debatable. But here you can see every single... Oh, wait a minute. You guys can't see. Let me think of this. Give me 1 second. Here over on the right, you guys can see every single cliff, which could be every month, could be every... it depends on the date. But in this case here, every cliff, every single time, 6.3% of the supply is unlocked. In this case here, that's $218 million that gets given to H-bar investors tomorrow or in about 3 hours from now. And that could take the price down a little bit, but most likely this project is big enough where they protect themselves from it, and the people have made enough money where they are not major sellers because they understand we're at the bottom of the bottom right now, and most likely it is not worth it to sell a good chunk of it right now because, well, obvious reasons. Anyway, but that's something you should kind of look into as well. With these major unlocks, sometimes that can be bad. You can also see the percentage of it, how much is already unlocked of the tokens and how much still it has yet to go. It's not a perfect list, this one, and it sometimes can be hard to find out at all, but it could help you with your investment decisions. If, however, being completely honest, I think the next major wave for cryptos is going to be the East, and I keep saying it. Really, in terms of regulations, don't look at China because they've not been the best, but look at everything surrounding China, everything around there, as of recently at least. And even inside, I guess, like Hong Kong, they've just been so extremely successful and doing so amazing this last run that I'm thinking, man, with all the GameFi and all those tech companies over there that are overzealous for getting into crypto, I just think a lot of those cryptocurrencies based there or getting a lot of adoption there have a lot of potential. Think about VeChain, think potentially about a Neo, even though Neo has kind of fallen off. But a lot of coins that are based out of China or the region, I think still have a lot of potential, purely because this major wave I still think is going to be from the East, because the US and things akin have just been bad. I mean, Gary Gensler is now going to get his investigation in Congress, most likely, but he's just been stupid with it. He's recently said all tokens except for Bitcoin are securities, and like we said somewhere a little bit earlier, if we're talking about the best coin to buy, we're talking about the US. The safest is Bitcoin because every other coin they can go after. If we're talking about the rest of the world, I'd say this list is pretty full. I mean, there's quite a lot of different cryptos that I personally am quite excited about, like, for example, XRP, like a Cardano, and we could kind of go on with this list for a little while here. There's just so many bullish options with a good risk to reward. Now, how do you measure risk to reward? We've gone over this multiple times, but there's a couple of different ways. For XRP, it's what is the probability of winning the lawsuit? Let's say 50%. If they win, it's going to be a 10x. If they lose, it's going to be a 0x. We lose all our money. So the expected value is 5. If I keep taking this bet over and over and over again, I'll basically 5x my money. So this is a good one. Let's say for Cardano, over the span of 3 years, we think it has an 80% chance to be worth more. Well, exactly how much more? And it has a 20% chance to fail. If it fails, exactly how low will it go? Put those into the little formula and you got yourself the expected value. Is it above 1? that means, in theory, that you should take it. And if you just kind of go on with this list for a little while, you keep getting values above 1, not exactly 1 like Tether or so, I would skip those, right? Because that's not a real investment, it's just getting your money back. It's the same thing as literally gambling, for example, because if you put $1 into the little roulette wheel, you're going to either get 2 or 0. And it's a 50-50 chance if there's no like 0 on there. There's no dealer cut. Your expected value will be exactly 1, but because there's a dealer cut, your expected value is like 0.98, whatever. And so if you keep playing that game, you'll actually lose money. Just keep thinking about that for every single one of these cryptos and you'll come out on top. Anyway, for the entire crypto space, I just got that in the sense of I just keep buying crypto because I know in my own head, and this is not financial advice, that if we look back in a couple of years, it will have made me money. It doesn't really matter what cryptos I buy as long as I diversify, because you never know what the next big wave is going to be. Again, I think it's going to go from China, but it could also be a big AI wave. It could be something else. Just be prepared for anything. In regards to the FUD, there's just a lot of FUD regarding Binance and an article in Forbes. That's about it. That's the most important piece. I was actually kind of curious though. You know, Binance has been written about in a bad way so many times by Forbes that I got thinking, didn't they actually buy a stake in it? And there were now a lot of these articles about a $1.8 billion move by Binance 2 days ago or so, or a little bit ago, you can see here. A lot of questions. And he responded saying, hey, people on Binance can take their money out whenever they want. It's not us making these moves or anything. It's just people moving money. So why are you making it such a big deal? Why are you comparing us to FTX? Why are you talking about my Chinese background? What does it have to do with anything? Binance's funds are one-to-one. And the thing is, if you think that Binance could afford right now to not have their assets backed up one-to-one, you'd be crazy. Because after FTX, all they have to do is not lend out crazy amounts of money. As FTX as well, they could have been fine. They were not in a bad position. They were just too money hungry and a little bit crazy obsessive. And that's sometimes the risk that these guys are willing to take to become the biggest. If you don't see Sam Bankman-Fried as a giant meathead in the sense of that he just wanted crazy amounts of money, I think you're crazy. Because at the end of the day, all they were doing is taking a lot of the funds from the people, funneling it into Alameda, based by some shady ass loans. And the reason that they did that is because Alameda could invest early into projects that, again, have these unlocks like we talked about just now, and get a 100x, a 400x, etc. And that way, they would turn every million they put in into 15 million in due course. But they relied on the fact that the market would continue to go up, so their loans would not just drop, basically, and the market went down, which is why all of a sudden, a lot of the projects they invested into weren't giving them as much money, etc., etc., etc. That's how things fell. Binance doesn't have to do that because they have built themselves smarter, and now because FTX fell, even if they were doing things bad, they can recoup because they have the time for it. And as long as there's no crazy short on BNB from some crazy government, well, then they also always have BNB to back themselves up on. So they're still fine from every department. Anyway, what I also wanted to notice was I did believe they actually bought themselves $200 million into Forbes. But it's kind of funny that they sued Forbes back in 2020 but dropped the case. I still remember that because I covered it on the channel. There's many other parts here that I think are quite interesting. All this talk of them having a conflict of interest or being biased. Again, I don't know if this purchase actually went through or not. They were supposed to buy 200 million. Maybe they actually didn't. I thought they did though. But it's interesting that all these articles are still funny regardless of what happened at the time. And yeah, I always got to get back to this in regards to the Ripple case. By far the best chance for crypto in the US is Ripple. There are other crypto players in the US that could be playing offense but aren't. This means it's basically all on XRP to save us all. Yeah, I just want you guys to keep that in the back of your head. If you really think XRP's case is not that important, please just research it for a second. There's so many people in the comment section that keep saying, oh no, Ripple is bad, Ripple is garbage, this, that, it's going to be garbage, it's going to go down. Or, this is what I see quite often as well. A lot of people actually say, I've been waiting for too long, I've given up, yada, yada, yada. The way I see it is, it's a long ass wait, but think about 5 years into the future. Think about 7 years into the future. Think about 3 years into the future. I personally think the wait will all have been worth it. But that's based on the result that I'm expecting to happen. You know, if we lose, which is, of course, a possibility, it'll have been a sad ride. But at the end of the day, we've calculated, we've all done the risk to reward, and it looks like a juicy investment to me. So yeah, that's why I'm sticking with it. But yeah, that's it for today's video. See you guys later in another one.